The Honda Civic SI is an increasingly rare type of performance car. Not because it achieves new heights for affordable enthusiast vehicles. Instead, it's because it thrives in the real world. .200 horsepower, an engaging 6-speed manual transmission, and a suspension crafted for backroad shenanigans. That's enough to make a lot of people, including myself, happy. But a major criticism is that for just a little more money, you can get a lot more power, all-wheel drive, or vehicles that could run laps around this when pushing limits. It also doesn't have the same raw, visceral energy of pre-turbo SIs.
Yeah, these are trash, bro, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. This drives better, honestly.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
There have always been cars that are a lot more hard edge than the Civic Si, but that's not really the point. After all, if you collect 46 grand and all of the Infinity Stones, you could buy a Civic Type R. We tend to label the SI a lesser car, which is definitely true, but I think the SI's mission is much more important because this focuses all of its energy into making your life as fun and easy as possible. First, this kind of car needs to be affordable. Thankfully, markups are easing off, but depending on region, your experience may vary. At $30,000, you're getting a pleasant, fairly well-equipped sedan. And if you want this one or a wide variety of other cars, I'd love to recommend Royal South Toyota in Bloomington, Indiana, the friendly, community-focused dealership that has let me test drive this SI and countless other new and used cars to help make videos like this possible. Each one will come with LED DRLs, proximity entry, and a subtle spoiler. All details shared are for the 2024, but next to me is actually a 2023 that someone has expressed their cosmetic freedom with, partially through Honda's own ground effects package that actually does look pretty sick. And key to an enthusiast-oriented vehicle is personalization, and the aftermarket support with the SI is big. Stock, the sharp yet inoffensive lines make the SI look substantial for the price tag instead of appearing immature like some competitors. I liked the VW Jetta GLI, but sometimes I don't want people to know how childish I am, and the red exterior plastic screams that I play Fortnite. But the inside is a safe place where the red accents and upholstery distance the little Honda from your standard compact. And this spice seasons an already great cabin. You have a classic looking Honda shift knob, aluminum pedals, and old school speedometer, bringing some much needed nostalgia. Yeah, basically everything in here is plastic, but it's well constructed. You have satisfying analog controls for your HVAC on your steering wheel, and the radio, which also uses a pretty straightforward interface. The 9-inch touchscreen comes standard with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something that occasionally disconnects with other Honda products that I've used, but the resolution and response time are good, so I don't really feel like this will date itself as quickly as some units like what you'll find with the WRX. And when it comes to comfort, the seats hug me just enough for back roads without squeezing my kidneys. Thigh support is adequate. They're shaped well, though if I'm to nitpick, I wish the seat bottom wasn't as firm. You have some padding for where your elbows rest. Granted, it is thin, and even at 6'3", I have more than enough legroom and a little bit of headroom to spare too, even with the standard sunroof stripping away some space. Take note, headroom could be an issue if you have a long torso or thick glutes. Feature-wise, I think this has what it needs. No, you don't get heated seats here in the US, and there's also no lumbar adjustment, but if car folks care about one thing that doesn't go vroom, it's a sound system, and this does come with a 12-speaker Bose unit that has solid bass, decent treble. You can turn it up without it distorting much. It will not rival a luxury system, but if you want more features and you still want this powertrain, Honda also makes the Integra, which will be similar but much better equipped and more luxurious. And if you don't want to spend as much money as that, you can also get the Civic Touring Sport with a manual. Maybe it's not as peppy, but Honda gives you options. And this is a car that is easily up to family tasks. Storage levels are strong, and the back seat is more than usable. My head will touch the ceiling if I lean back, and my knees will graze the seat, but I'd still be fine sitting behind myself. My only actual complaints come from the seats not getting the same red treatment as up front, and the lack of rear console vents or USB ports. While the aforementioned Acura will best this in versatility, the sedan has quite the caboose. It's tall, reasonably wide and long, and the seats fold down through some handy releases. One small knock you'll find just to fix a flat kit underneath. But overall, the interior of the SI is not only practical enough for most people's needs, it's more well built than it's been in the past. And outside of the Mazda 3, it's probably my favorite place to spend time in when it comes to a compact car. Underneath, we're gonna have a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4. While 200 ponies doesn't sound like a whole lot, it isn't a whole lot, but it's enough, especially when you pair it up with a 6-speed manual transmission with some aggressive gear ratios. It also comes with a limited slip differential. That way it can actually put the power to the ground through corners and off the line. So how quick is it? Expect a decent launch and good shifts to get you to 60 in about 7 seconds. Honda, as you can tell, did pump in a little bit of fake noise, which is subtle and does help this sound more like a sports sedan, but its presence alone is a reminder of what we lost. The passing power is pretty good. Because you have to shift twice and it has front wheel drive, I think those 0 to 60 numbers can be a little misleading in terms of how quick this actually is. Throttle response is also speedy for a boosted engine. Turbo lag is limited, though occasionally there is a slight bit of hesitancy as the clutch engages, which could be due to its clutch delay valve, something that's supposed to dampen some of the shift shock that you would get. Others have kind of attributed it to some more clunkiness, but that doesn't really bother me a whole lot. The manual transmission makes up for some of this. These aggressive ratios make it more fun to drive. You're gonna have to shift a lot, and you will enjoy doing that because of these short, precise throws with a nice mechanical engagement into each gate. The clutch is light, there's not a whole lot going on there, but it has a gradual bite to it with a hill hold feature, so it's easy to get smooth takeoffs down. Does it still have rev hang? Yes, but honestly, it hasn't been in my way as much as I was expecting, and this is something that you can eliminate with a Honda tune, but at that point you may be pushing the limits of the stock clutch. What the SI actually does best these days is not related to the powertrain. Instead, it's the handling. Even if the corners aren't perfect, fully independent suspension that's well tuned keeps this feeling poised. The car reacts not in a overly eager manner. There's limits. This is no Type R by any means, but it's stable. Body roll is present, but there's no secondary motion, at least at this speed. Understeer is also well under control. You can heel-toe downshift if you feel so inclined, but there is auto rev matching. And I just can't get over how direct this is. And with a little bit of feedback and a nice buildup in weight as you go through corners, this is natural and more fun, in my opinion, on a back road than my old 8th gen SI. And when your fun is over, this is still an easy car to live with. At highway speeds, 65 miles per hour, top gear will have you around 2,500 RPM. While wind noise isn't too bad, road noise certainly makes itself known. For this kind of car, it's not too noisy, and it's cheap to run. The gas mileage that this car has averaged over 4,000 miles is 34 mpg. You also don't technically need to run premium fuel, but it is recommended. Efficiency is also an advantage to it just being front-wheel drive, a limitation when compared to the all-wheel drive Subaru WRX. But with this power output, that is far from necessary. Now listen, on a horrible road, you're going to feel every bump and crevice. If you want something a little bit more supple, I do think the GTI has an advantage, as does the aforementioned WRX, though I'd still label this smooth over most pavement and forgiving enough on torn-up city streets. For as firm as this is, without adaptive dampening, I think most enthusiasts would be able to live with this. And just like Hondas of yesteryear, this is a really approachable car to drive, not only because of its direct steering, but it's also very easy to see out of. With the windshield being close to me, the large windows, I would be comfortable driving this anywhere that's paved. And compared to its competitors, the Civic Si does provide an advantage when it comes to reliability. Now, a lot of the mechanical bits are similar to what they were in the previous generation, though they have been tweaked. For the 10th gen, the most concerning issue was oil dilution, where gasoline would mix there with the engine lubricant, and it could definitely cause some damage, though there was service bulletins that did address this problem, and dilution seems to have been reduced significantly. For 2024, I wouldn't worry about it so long as you're on top of your oil changes. While the climate control gave the previous gen Civic the most issues according to Consumer Reports, this generation we're seeing a sticky steering problem in many 2022 models that received a limited recall. The active driving aids have also been the subject of numerous NHTSA reports. I've also seen some folks complain about interior plastic rattles. Something that was very faint in my tester owner reviews on Cars.com and Edmunds are overwhelmingly positive. It is direct injection only, so have an induction cleaning service done every 30,000 miles or so to clean up the valves, and you should have a long-lasting little car. It's also safe for a compact and held up well to the IIHS crash tests. The SI comes standard with the usual active safety suite with blind spot monitoring too. It's easy to become obsessed with power and numbers, but that comes at a cost, both figuratively and literally. In addition to its $30K starting point, you don't have to worry about expensive brakes, ridiculous tires, or high fuel consumption. And it's straightforward, it's fairly comfortable and easy to drive, and most importantly, it's fun. It's entertaining to drive flat out, yet shifting and cornering around town or in normal use, it is also a pleasure. I'd go so far as to say if I'm not sending it like same-day Amazon Prime, it's more of a joy to drive than my own GR Corolla. And it's about 10 grand cheaper with more passenger space, comfort, quality, and lower running costs. Sometimes less is less. With the SI, the straight-line performance is sufficient, not impressive. But the fun you can have on a daily basis is. This might receive some flack for not having a high redline, ideal powertrain tuning, or the countless features of the Canadian spec SI, but just because the ingredients could be better doesn't mean the recipe isn't perfect. If you want a sports sedan that you can enjoy every day and almost anywhere, I can't think of a better choice than the Civic Si. Unless it's marked up, then I would probably just get an Integra. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like to help me take on the maniacal YouTube algorithm. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more fun, detailed car content without fluff. Consider becoming a channel member for an additional podcast and to help me take this to another level. I'll catch you in the next one.